Okay, everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Queenie Clem. We have Miss Barbara Joe, and we're going to talk about her book, Loving My Daddy to Death. So, Miss Barbara, you want to take the floor?
Take the floor and do what?
Talk about your book.
Well, Loving My Daddy to Death is, well, has everyone read the book?
This is my first time on. I'm now hearing about the book, so I haven't.
You haven't read the book?
No, I my first time coming. I just got in today, so I don't know anything.
Okay, so the book is Loving My Daddy to Death. It's about that. First of all, it's set in 1972, and it's about a 12-year-old girl named Samantha Holloway who wants to kill her father, her abusive father, because he's abusive to her mother and her brother Timmy, but he treats her like a queen. He's not abusive to her, but she believes that the only way that she can save her mom and her brother is by killing her father. So that's the whole premise of the story.
Oh, okay. Sounds interesting.
Mm-hmm. So the book came out in March. It's 101 pages, so it's available on Amazon and Kindle and paperback.
Okay. How did it? Oh, I was going to just do your questions, your discussion questions in the back of the book.
Okay.
Okay. How did everybody did you like or did not like the story?
I loved the story.
What did you like and not like? Let's talk about what you liked, and then we'll talk about what you didn't like.
Anybody want to speak first? Okay.
Somebody said they loved the story.
Melissa, you want to tell her the author why you love the story?
I love the story because I liked how descriptive it was and I can relate to it.
Okay. Who is 713? Who is that?
That's me, Wanda. Can you hear me? I'm having.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, you want to tell Miss why you like the book?
You can hear me talk, Queenie?
Yes.
Okay. What I liked about the story, it kept me going. I had to keep reading because I said, surely this child's not gonna kill her dad, and I didn't cheat. So I took my time and I read. I just kept reading. Also, what I liked about the story was the old school song and a bit of history that was put in the story.
Okay.
I can relate to the 70s.
Okay. Alethea, you want to tell Miss Barbara why you like the story? Can you type in or can you speak?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how are y'all? So I like the fact that it was nothing that I expected. I'm serious. Like I like that part. I thought it was going to be something else and it turned out to be something else. So I love the twists and turns of the story. I love the like that she told it from back in the day. I thought that was so cool. Even from like the timeline period, from the clothes and all that. I really like the way she told, the whole storytelling part of the story. And we just saying what I do like, right? We not saying what I don't like.
Yeah, what we like first.
Yeah, so I like all of that.
Okay. Miss
And I
Ellen,
did leave I left my review on Amazon and Goodreads. So I read it and left my review.
good.
All right, thank you, thank you.
You're
Miss
welcome.
Ellen, you want to speak? Miss Ellen, do you want to speak? Here she go. Okay, she said she was gonna listen. She don't want to talk.
You think she can hear you?
Huh?
You think she can hear you?
Yeah, she can hear me. She texting me. I mean, she sending me messages back.
Okay.
I like the story because the music, the church song, it was back in the day buffet, back in the 70s, which I grew up in, and I really like that. And I like how you mentioned history. And I wanted to ask you, were you a history buff?
No, not really.
You're not. There's a lot of history in.
Since I was going back in time, I figured I could provide a list.
Mhm. Okay, next question, it says, why did you not like the story? Did anybody not like the story?
Or some part about it that maybe you didn't like. You know,
Mm-mm.
I didn't like the abuse.
of course not.
You know, I'm gonna be honest, but the sad thing about it, I know it was real. It's real.
Mhm.
I knew that was real. But I tell you, that was hard for me. And to be honest, Barbara Joe knows I'm such a romantic. That's all I read. And so this was something that I've never wanted. The only reason why I have this book is because of Barbara Joe. Because, you know, I know her. And I just don't read this kind of stuff. And so I read it for the book review, the book club. And then, like I said, once I got into it, I said, oh, Lord, you know, I just had to make sure it was going to end on a positive note.
Oh, yeah.
You know, knowing you, Barbara Joe, I said, now, surely she's not going to. But you had me going all the way to the end.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted. That's
All the
exactly
way to the end.
Okay, second question says, when you started reading this book, did you think Samantha was really going to kill her father?
Yeah, excuse me for cutting in. Yes, I was stupid enough to think that.
Me too.
And then when the gun come up, you know, the thing about the gun, I said, oh, Lord, she's going to use this gun.
Yeah.
And I really thought he was a goner with the cigarette. So, yeah, I thought it at the
This Alethea, I agree. I didn't like the abuse either. Like, that bothered me so much. Like, you know, the young lady just said, I apologize, I wasn't sure who was talking, but I believed it too because it was so real. Like, people really go through that. You know, the woman getting beat by the man, the father, and then the child getting beat by the father. What shocked me was, you know, when I found out why he was doing it, even though it still wasn't no good reason, you know. And yes, I really did thought she was going to kill her daddy. I was really rooting for her to do it. I wouldn't have felt bad.
Like Wanda said, I thought she was going to take him out with that cigarette.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I thought it was gone.
Miss Ellen says, I didn't like the abuse as well. I didn't like the fact that I did not hear more about the son. Yes, I thought she would.
Okay.
So,
She wanted more.
okay.
Okay.
Our next question, do you think the mother did enough to protect her children from their daddy?
No.
Me neither.
No.
She didn't do enough. She should have did enough, but she didn't. Miss Wanda, what you think?
No, she didn't do enough. I mean, she did when she, you know, in one episode, she threw her body on. She covered her son. You know, that's protected. But no, she just didn't. And you know, I'm a woman of today, and I guess I've always been this woman of today. I'm not taking a lick. You know, I'm just not doing it. And so I was like that baby her daughter. Why we can't leave it? You know, that love stuff, I tell you, that.
Alicia?
And you have to
Did
think
you?
about the time period too. This was you have to remember this was 1972.
Alicia, you say something?
Okay.
No, I was agreeing with them that I didn't like. I'm serious. I really just didn't like the whole abuse. I really felt like I'm telling you, I'm gonna tell y'all. Don't get mad at me, Miss Barbara. I
Okay.
gave you 4 stars because I hated the father and I hated that the mother really put up with that abuse. Like I wanted to slap her for myself, get her some help or something, and then she want to use this church stuff. Like no, God don't want him to abuse you or your son. Like that pissed me off.
Okay.
Miss Ellen says, no, sure did not do enough. I think she was more wanting to get the wholeness of her man. What was your general impression of the father before and after reading the book?
Yeah. Did your impression of the father change, by the time you got to the end of the book, or was it the same?
All right, for me, I'ma say it changed. Alethea Gibbs, I'ma say it did change after I found out, his reasoning behind it. Again, I didn't agree with it though, but then like part of me made me understand like, oh, so this is what's going on. But my thing, I still feel like they shouldn't have been together, especially if he called himself accepting her, apologizing, this and that. You have to forgive her. Don't abuse her. And the son, I felt bad. So I promise you, you did a very, very good job. But I know it's not fair, but I got very emotional. That's why I took away, but you really did a really good job. And I'm telling you, you are good at storytelling because, this is my first time reading your regular book. I read your self-help, but you are good at storytelling. I'm telling you, you did good. I'm serious.
Thank you, sweetie. So you haven't read any of my romance novels?
No, because I don't know. I guess I'm really not into that. Like I tell everyone when they ask what's my favorite genre, I'll be honest with you. Self-help is really my favorite genre because I truly love to learn. And I told myself, I could give other genres a chance or whatever, but I'll be honest, I'm going to read your self-help before anything. But I truly did enjoy reading Loving My Daddy to Death. Like you really shocked me and did really good with it.
All right. Thank you, sweetie.
You're welcome.
Hey, Danielle, how you doing?
Hello. How are you all?
Fine. We're talking about what did you like or did not like about the story?
Oh, my goodness, Miss Barbara.
Yes, ma'am.
I was so mad at that mama, I did not know what to do. Y'all have to excuse me. My church day is my horrible day. So after service, I look like hoo-hoo. But anyway, that mama had me so mad, I didn't know what to do. But you know what? I automatically said, that must not be his baby.
Oh.
From the rip, because to see how he was so loving to that other girl, to the daughter, but then was wanting to beat the snot out this baby every chance he got, and the mama, I said, oh, that must not be his baby. So, but I'm a story writer, and we tend to try to figure out what's going on before we get to it. And I was really now reading fast to see did I hit the nail on the head? And when he got killed, I was like, okay, but you know what? I could see God because I could see and I'm always looking for God in books because, with her begging him not to go. And normal time when people are asking you not to go somewhere, it's because they have this feeling. And so, yes, I could feel like she had this feeling that you just don't need to go. So I really like that. What I didn't like was that I had to endure the beatings.
Hmm.
So for someone who really loves children, and to even just read about that, it was almost like, you know, like, oh, I just don't want to read no more about the baby getting beat. But that's life. I was a counselor, and you'd be surprised at how many children suffer beatings by the hands of their own parents because of situations they had no control over. So all in all, it was a wonderful book. I've got to write my review. I'm a little slow on writing my review, but I did read it in one day because I was anxious to see if I was right. And when I saw I was right, I said, wow, awesome, awesome.
Well, that's good because most people think it's about because the daughter is they think that he's, molesting the daughter. That's why he's not beating her. So that's usually the general assumption. And I definitely couldn't have written that book.
Well, I almost, and then to see the pain that it was causing the daughter,
Yes.
made me, I was like, wow, don't he see that what he's doing is hurting the one he loves? And a lot of times when men really love their daughters, that's how they are. You know, they love their girls. My husband's love my girls, you know, and you see that with my son, it was always, come on here and mow this yard or blah, blah, blah. But with those girls, she need to wash them dishes. Well, baby, I'll get in there. You know what I mean? Like, what? You know, but that dad and daughter relationship can be something else. But so the realness of that, my mind never went to molestation. My first mind was, when I was right, I was like, okay, awesome. So yeah.
Miss Ellen or Alethea, what's your take on the father before and after the reading the book?
No, I told you how I felt
Okay.
before, but I agree with Miss Barbara. Excuse me. At first, that's what I was assuming. Like, he must, rape the child. That's how I was thinking. Like, yeah, she was molested by the father. That's why she hate him. She going to kill him. She want to kill him. I'm telling you, with the cigarette, I thought she would kill him. Then the gun, I'm like, okay, he got shot. She really killed him. Especially how she was scared when Officer Carl came over. Like, I don't know. It really, I'm telling you, it got me. I'm sorry. That's why I'm like, I'm over here like shocked. I didn't expect any of that. I'm telling you, I was really shocked. I'm reading this like, whoa, like, wow, she caught that. She had me confused. Like, I was thinking of something else. Like, I'm telling you, I really enjoyed the story. It was cool. I enjoyed it. I'm really happy I read it because I'll be honest with you. I told you, I'm into self-help. At first, I really wasn't going to read it. But then I said, you know what? Especially it's the book of the month, I guess it's just meant for me to read it. So I'm happy I read it.
Okay. Miss Ellen says, I thought he was as well. I like the fact that Samantha took control of her emotions and feelings. I thought the father had some issues, and I was wondering why he was beating his son.
Can I look? This Alethea Gibbs again. Can I tell y'all one more thing that I did like? How much I hate William. I do respect and appreciate the fact that he had thought about his family for the life insurance and stuff. I was grateful for that.
Yeah, that was my next question. Did you agree with what the mother did with the money from the insurance policy?
Yes, I don't think I had a problem with that. Like, I thought that was cool.
Miss Wanda, you want to speak?
I don't think we can hear her.
She on mute.
She's the audio back on, but it sounds like she's talking, but I don't hear her.
She on mute. And she ain't off of mute. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, there you go.
Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna whine because I don't know what's happening. But anyway, I was pleased how she handled the money. I never once, I'm backtracking because I'm listening, but I didn't know I couldn't talk. I never thought he abused her. He was bothering his daughter. I didn't think that at all. But I did suspect that baby was not his. I did suspect that. I did suspect that. I don't know why, but for him to want to beat the son like that, I said, this is not his child.
Melissa, Danielle? Danielle or Melissa, you want to speak?
Oh,
Went off of it.
I'm just listening.
Okay. Next question. What is your takeaway regarding the general theme of the story? What was your takeaway from the story? Danielle?
I don't understand the question.
She said, what was the takeaway? Well,
Which-
I guess one of the main things that I got out of it was the fact that sometimes you don't reap like you sow, because he did reap what he sowed, but it wasn't like he sowed. And then another thing that I got out of it was that as a mother, you are really your children's protector. And sometimes when you're vulnerable, it opens the door for your children to be vulnerable.
Right.
And so, you know, it was, at one point I'm mad at the mama because you know what he finna do to your boy, but you know, it was either the boy get beat or she get beat. And sometimes look like in the story, they both got beat, you know, he beat them the same time. And so then the excuse was, because I kept seeing the excuse before he went off to the military, he was not like this. And so then I looked at the fact that people need counseling. That was one of the takeaways. That and I would just I figured that this was an African American family, and we are the worst when it comes to getting counseling. We will pray about it and pray, but we will never seek counseling. And so my thought was, his brother, who seemed to be an upright man, should have said to his brother, you need help, you know, and pushed him towards getting that help. So one of the other takeaways was the fact that if the people around you don't do anything, you know, we often will say people need to mind their business. But sometimes the people need to mind their business and your business, because if they don't mind your business, things won't ever change. And so even though the brother helped him with the business of the life insurance, he should have been helping him with the business of the life activity.
Yeah. Good point.
Miss Ellen, you got anything to say? Miss Wanda? Oh, she did.
Ellen wrote something over here. I see something.
I was thinking from the title alone was that Samantha was a true daddy's girl, but as I read the story, I was like, oh, Samantha was wanting her mom to take ownership as mother and wife, a wife. Someone has to stand up for the dysfunctional things that's happening in the house.
Okay.
Miss Wanda?
I'm thinking.
Okay, Alethea Gibbs, I agree with all that. For whatever reason, we feel like we're too good for counseling. That's how I felt every time she said, well, before, you know, he went to the war, like, you know, in real life, I had people who done served the country. Some are still serving. And God forbid if something like that happened to them, I promise you, as their family member, I'm going to suggest counseling. If they don't want to go, I'm going to go with them, because I know stuff like that is real. It happens. And that's just really how I feel. Like, me in real life, I believe in counseling. I go to counsel. I have no problem with it. I'm not ashamed. And I just feel like he should have went to counseling. It's either I know people don't agree with ultimatums or whatever, but I feel like she should have said, listen, either go to counseling or I can't be with you, because you can't continue to abuse me and Timmy.
Okay.
And one thing that she overlooked, and it wasn't brought out, she could have gone to Alcoholics Anonymous. I mean, that was the main issue.
Yes, I apologize. I agree with
being in the war was devastating. You know, we have so many men that came back from that Vietnam War messed up. You know, I know that for a fact.
Yes.
But he was able to work. So what he did was drink to drown out what happened. So he needed to, if he wouldn't go, she should have gone. And I'm talking from experience. My father was an alcoholic. He didn't go, but my mom went. And eventually he did, even though he didn't know we knew it, but he did go. So you just don't sit in a situation like that, because he was the one that got killed. And I'm so sorry to say this. I'm glad it was him, than his children or his wife.
I hear you.
You know, I'm just so sorry to say that. But, you know, I think a lot of this could have, you know, they could have gotten him. And like I said, nothing else for Alcoholic Anonymous, because the children can go and the mother, you know. But now this was in the 70s. And no, they had that going strong in the 70s. But the 70s, we were in this mindset where we don't, you know, counseling is not a good thing.
Exactly.
You know, among us. It's just not a good thing. It's a weak thing. And then the next thing, if we do anything, we'll go to the church. And, you know, it's sad to say, the church house back then was not the best place, because that's how your business got out.
And that's true too.
Yep.
That's true too.
I agree with her. I don't know why I didn't even pay attention to the alcoholic problem. Don't tell me, I don't mean to say I didn't pay attention, but I didn't mention it here, you know, on Zoom. But I really agree with her. He should have, you know, got help for that too. Because there's no way, and like she said, drain out his problem. It's sad to say that's what majority of people do in this world. Instead of go get the help they need, they want to drink their problems away. And that doesn't help, because once you sober up, the problem's still there. And in his case, he get drunk and he want to hit them like that. Oh, I don't like him.
I hear you, Miss Ellen.
No, that's me. Alicia Gibbs. That was me.
Okay. I know Miss Barbara has to go, but I want everybody, all of y'all are authors. So, Miss Barbara, you want to start first and tell people about some of your books?
Well, as you know, I may not know, I have a self-help series for authors that, you know, help with writing and editing and publishing. I think Alethea mentioned that earlier. And, you know, I started out writing romance novels. So the majority of my books are romance novels. This was a departure for me, as Miss Park stated. This was very much a departure for me. It's not something that I had planned to write. It's just a story that came to me. This little girl woke me up. Actually, I was asleep. And this little girl just woke me up and said, you know, she said, I got a story. And I was like, okay. And I went back to sleep.
Oh.
And she woke me up again. And she's like, I got a story. I killed my dad. I got a story. So at that point, I got up and I started writing. And I'll tell you, that was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And that's how this story came about. Like I said, it was a complete departure. You know, the abuse, it was hard to write, because I had said I would never write a story about, you know, child abuse or domestic violence, because, you know, that's really hard for me to understand, first of all. So it was really hard for me to write as well. But total, I do have 32 books. So if you want to go to my website or my Amazon page, I've got 32 other books that you can read, self-help and romance.
All right. Lisa, you're an author, correct? Lisa,
Hi.
you're an author, correct?
What you asking me? Sorry.
I said you're an author, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the name of your book?
It's Still Overcoming.
Okay.
I wrote this book. By the way, my name is Lisa Powder. I met Queenie recently, and we sort of connect, so she offered for me to come on the live, so I said no problem. I'm from Trinidad. I came to the States in 2014. I came with my husband and my 2 daughters. And I could relate with the story that the lady wrote about because I was a victim of that. And I had to flee. I had to take my children and leave. And I had to find shelter. So yesterday, Queenie did a slam, poetry slam, and I wrote my poetry based on that. I had to, was homeless in 2017. I was staying all over the place. And this book I wrote called Still Overcoming, it's poetry. What the hurts, the depression, the lost love, all these things I put in this book. It's on Amazon and by Lisa Powder. So I'm still overcoming, and thank God we got shelter. I live in New York. I'm a single parent with 2 grown daughters, and my youngest, due to the stress of everything, went out and got pregnant. So I was going through my trials and tribulation, and I had to be a grandmother at the same time. So I went through all of it, the abuse, the ridicule. I went through all of it. So poetry was a way to heal, to write, and to heal myself. And so far it's doing that. It's, you know, I'm putting all my feelings. And I also have another book called Teenage Mom, with my daughter got pregnant. I wrote a story on it. It's supposed to be published soon.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Danielle?
I'm Danielle Scroggins. I don't know. I have books out there as well, www.daniellescroggins.com. But I would like to say that by Miss Barbara, my favorite book is First Class Love. And I've read First Class Love, I think Double Proposal, but First Class Love was my absolutely favorite. And I think that I kind of gravitated towards her writings because I was a ex-Navy's wife, and her writings are about the Navy. And so I fit at home in her book. So if you don't go and get anyone but that one, try First Class Love and Double Proposal. And see how you feel about those two. I know that was one that I really appreciated. And I read it, didn't hardly put it down. And that's it. I'll be on in a couple of weeks with my book, one of my latest, More Than Diamonds. And I just appreciate being here. Thank you, Queenie.
Okay, I plan to be there.
Alethea?
Hello, I don't even know what was the question. I apologize, y'all, because I had company. My company is leaving. Tell me the question real quick.
Just tell us who you are in your books.
Oh, Alethea Gibbs, They Don't Hear Her Cries. That's what I wrote by myself. Wombs of Wisdom, I wrote that with a few other authors. And I don't remember exactly when my book of the month, but I didn't know we was talking about me. I want to talk about Barbara Jo. I have a question for her. I'm just curious because I know you have a lot of books. That's a blessing. You know, congratulations. I'm just curious, like your top 5 you would suggest, you know, to someone new reading your stuff.
Well, of course, to new readers, I suggest my first book, which was Forgive Us This Day. So I have 2 versions. I have an original version of Forgive Us This Day that was my first book published in 2004. And then I did an updated version of that book in 2014 that went on to make it to USA Today bestsellers list. And
wow, that's nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. That was 2014. And then my bestseller book to this day is Double Proposal. And that book was written in, I can't remember what year, it was 2015 or 16. But anyway, that was my first Amazon bestseller. And that book is still my best-selling book today. It outsells everything every month.
Wow. Then I heard someone say First Class Love. That's an interesting
Yeah,
title.
First
That
Class
sounds
Love,
interesting.
Double Proposal, Forgive Us This Day, Losing My Soul, that's one of mine, and A Man of My Own. That's one of mine. So those are like top.
Okay, nice. Thank you.
All right. Miss Wanda.
Okay, I'm an author of romance. I like to say my characters are plus size women. Now, that's my thing.
Yeah,
I love reading romance. Everybody know that. I'm just I have to have a happy ending. And so I write stories for the big woman in mind, because I get tired of reading about a 6 and an 8 and a 10. And then a 12 is considered a plus size. Please. So my stories are definitely plus size women. I also write with younger women in mind. Well, I guess I should say all ages, because I have a series.
Okay.
You say what now?
I said I thought I read a book about an older couple.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I have a series that's called Golden Years, and those ladies start at 50. Well, the couple, they're at least 50 years old or older, and then I have some in between. So I try to do 35 to 50, by itself. I'm not big on young girls, even though I have written a couple of stories where they're in their 20s. I don't like what it's, I just don't. So anyway, that's what I write. I have what you call a happy ending. Now, and I always tell people, now when you get tired of the drama, because I do have just a little bit, but some books that I read, because I'm a big reader, when I get through with a book that was so full of so much drama, I need to read something sweet. And so that's what I'm known as, the author with sweet romance.
Yes, ma'am.
And all you have to do is W. Parks Brigham on Amazon, and they'll pull me up.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you are the next book of the month, and do you remember what book it was?
Try and Love Again.
Try and Love Again. So that's next month's book of
right. That's in
Sunday.
That's part of 2 series: Second Chance and Golden Years.
All right.
So that's it.
Anybody have any final words before we go?
Do we have a date for that? Is that July 30th or not?
Just I don't even have it right here with me. We start it next Sunday.
I have no idea.
I have to look at the board.
Okay.
But
I have to read the book close to the discussion date, because I read so much. If I read it now, I don't know what we.
You forget it. I'm the same way.
Yeah,
I was reading your book today, Barbara Joe.
There you go.
I read your book today. I said I held on to it. I said I bought all the books. I said, but I'm going to read this one today. As a matter of fact, a few hours before, because I'm a big reader. I'm not playing when I say I'm a big reader.
Yeah, me either. So, if I read your book July 5th, by the time July 3rd comes,
no, you won't know.
Well, I have to read.
So it's not. It's a short read. I mean, it's a novella. I try to keep all of the books with the older women, all older couples, a novella. I prefer reading novellas myself. So I tend to try to write that. Of course, they don't always end up that way, but it's just, be maybe just a few words more if you're looking at word count. But it's a short, easy read.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it.
Miss Wanda, it's Trying to Love, right?
You said what now?
Trying to Love Again.
Trying to Love.
Yes, trying to love again.
Try to Love Again, Miss Ellen. And listen, I hope you join us next month and buy Miss Wanda's book.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
You got any final words, Miss Barbara, before we go?
I just want to say thank you all for the support. Thank you for having me here today. I have truly enjoyed myself, and I'm looking forward to all the other discussions and supporting all the other authors.
Okay.
All right. And Miss Ellen said, what does she love to have?
Thank you, Ella. You know what? I'm so glad you really can't see it, because it's a mess. It's a mess.
Messy
I
hair.
was pulling it up. It's a mess, but but it's nice and silver.
I see. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
ladies,
you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm out.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you
All
for
right. Good night. Good
Y'all,
night.
good night.